I'm Nolan Fogelman. I'll be giving you a persuasive speech on why electronic devices should replace books and textbooks in schools. Electronic devices should replace books because of how much greater their capabilities are, how much longer they can last, their greater capacity of reading material, and the price will ultimately be lower when the cost of textbooks and replacements are factored in. The average electronic reading device, such as a Kindle or iPad, can hold over 7,000 books. Many school libraries hold around 10,000 books total. So each student could technically have 7,000 books, while an average school of maybe 2,000, such as Temple High School, can have 5 books a student out at a time. These devices can hold reading books and textbooks. This one-time cost for books and device per student would not only save thousands of dollars per student's education for the school, but also make the continuous nuisance of replacing worn-out books obsolete. Electronic reading devices are cheaper ultimately, are much more convenient, have many more capabilities, and are more in line with the new technological age than traditional books. First, even the most advanced electronic reading device, such as the Kindle Fire, are under $300. Although the textbooks are still going to have to be bought, the electronic versions are much cheaper and the device can stay with the student throughout their entire education. Schools spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on textbooks annually, while they could instead spend around $2,000 on a student for their entire education with the cost of electronic books, textbooks, and the Kindle or iPad itself for the student. The Kindle Fire, one of the most popular electronic reading devices on the market today, can also connect to the internet and have apps downloaded. Students could have apps downloaded where they could even submit reading assignments or submit different types of homework assignments or check their grades in school or even communicate with the teacher one-on-one outside of school. Next, an electronic device would allow for a much more convenient experience for students and teachers. The average student can only maintain around 4 books to carry, and that's including textbooks, while an electronic device would allow a student to have as many as 7,000 books, or all their textbooks on a single device that's about the size of an elementary student's book. Teachers can have all of their books for their classes at the touch of a finger instead of having a giant stack they have to bring with them every day and take home. Teachers and students can communicate outside of the school easier with these devices and check grades and even research for projects, much easier than having to go check out computers or go to the library or computer lab. Additionally, these devices have many more capabilities than a book. While books are merely a book, these devices can hold books, allow students to highlight and make notes as needed instead of having to erase them at the end or take out sticky notes because the books have to be reused the next year. They can check grades, research assignments, bookmark different areas, and find them much easier with different tabs, share information with friends and teachers, and even have individualized assignments sent to the device for the student to fulfill. Kindergartners who are introduced to iPad-type devices are showing much quicker signs of educational development. Although it might not be good for society, introducing electronics into more aspects of a student's education are preparing them better for the real world. Finally, these electronic devices are much more realistic for students to use now in developing technological age. Even if not the best for society, the world is heading to a paper-obsolete place. The earlier students are introduced to a type of world where there's not as much paper and there's more electronic devices, the more they will be prepared for the real world and the jobs they will have after exiting high school. Electronic devices are beginning to be issued to many employees to use for their day-to-day work rather than paperwork. Overall, an electronic device for students rather than textbooks and traditional books is the better option through how they are an economically satisfying choice for the school, can fulfill many more requirements for a student than a book can, have the convenience of up to 7,000 books on a single device, and are preparing them better for the real world, which is becoming paper obsolete. Electronic devices are better than traditional books through how they are cheaper, more convenient, better preparing students for the real world, and have many more capabilities. The reason more electronic devices are not being given to students in more places is the lack of support. It only takes a few people being adamant about implementing electronic devices into schools to have a school system more in line with the new technological age of the world.